Satnam?
Hi, Tracy.
Can I touch you?
Yes.
Here.
Oh my God, thank you.
Thank you so much for letting us in. Can I tell you something that's going to sound weird? I'm excited. Do you know why I'm excited? This is the beginning of a shift for you. You have been living in so much sadness. Like, I feel for you.
Thank you.
And this is the beginning of a shift, okay? We're going to get you to the other side. We're going to get you to feel joy again.
Okay.
Do you trust me? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting us in.
Of course.
I want to talk about your little boy.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
You show me. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Look, he's so sweet.
That's actually my grandson.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
Austin. He took those pictures in his bedroom. That's my son, Mandeep.
That's Mandeep.
That's my daughter.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful family, Satnam. Tell me something. Like, wow, there's pictures everywhere. Oh my gosh. Look at this. It's beautiful.
That's Mandeep with his nephew.
And that's him.
Yes.
Can you tell me about Mandeep when he was a little boy? Tell me about him.
He was very loving. We were very close. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He would wake up, I would put him to sleep, and in the middle of the night, he would just come into my bedroom and he would just stand there in the dark and not say anything. And then I would open my eye, I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, I can't sleep. Can I sleep with you? And he would just come and snuggle in bed with me. And then sometimes I would take him back and then I'd put him on his bed and just sit on the floor and just put my hand on him, just so that he would feel my presence there.
A mother's love. Come and show me some of these other photos. There were some very good times, right? When you think about Mandeep, what do you want everyone to know about him? What do you want me to know about him?
He was a great person. He loved everyone. You know, he spread a lot of joy to everyone, his friends especially. They miss him immensely. And his sister and Austin, his nephew, we miss him so much. We talk about him all the time. You know, he does the mohawk like in that picture. Austin, he does his hair like him and he looks exactly like him. Some of the stuff he does, the way he smiles and things he does, is just like him. He was a good person. And it's just sad he's not here.
You know, I can't imagine the depth of sadness. Every day, how are you coping? Like, what's happening? What are your days like?
Well, I wake up and, you know, I tell myself, I talk to myself, I tell myself every day, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. You know, I go to work. Before work, I go to the cemetery, I water the plants, I feed the squirrels peanuts, which I'm not supposed to, but I still do. They wait for me. And then I go to work and, you know, on my way to work, I cry every day. And every day I tell myself, nope, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. And as soon as I park my car, I wipe my tears and I tell myself, I have to go inside and make sure everyone at my office has a good day. You know, they all have to have a good day. They rely on me, they look up to me, they're excited to see me, you know, and I want to make sure I project that when I go to work. And everyone loves me at work. So I'm grateful for, you know, FY doctors for giving me the opportunity to work for them and let me deal with my daily struggles even at work. It's great.
Well, listen, I just watched a video of you and I like you too. I love you already. You give off a lot of really beautiful energy.
Thank you.
Even with everything you've been through.
I try my best.
Yeah. Well, I want you to get to the point where you don't have to pretend to be living anymore and you can actually just live again. Because I feel like you're on pause.
I am.
You're on pause.
I am.
Can you talk to me about your shirt? Who's that?
Yeah, that's Mandeep. Like I told you, he was very close to me. He would do that, like he would come and hug me, or this was our spot. I would sit there, and he would sit right beside me, or he would come sit when he wants to like annoy me, he would sit right beside me, and he would just grab my hand and he'll say, Satnam, Satnam, and this is what he would do. And this was our spot, and and then at night he would just come on the bed and just sit beside me or lay next to me, and we just sit there. And I felt like he always wanted to say something, but he wouldn't say it. And I would say, are you okay? Do you want to talk about anything? No. He'd say, no, I'm okay. And, and that was it. And, I just wish I knew.
Yeah. Now, you are sleeping in Mandeep's room, which I understand. Yeah. As a mother, I get it. Can we go talk in there?
Of course.
Show me. Show me his room. Show me his things. Show me what makes you feel good.
So this is Mandeep's bedroom. So
let's have a seat. Come have a seat.
So the day he passed away, he had these clothes. It was like it's really... But he made his bed and, put his clothes here and left a little note saying, I can't do this anymore. And he just left. And it was just like, it's here. It's just his PJs, that he would put on. And it's like, I moved all my stuff into his room that night. My daughter and I, we slept on his bed the night he passed away. And we're just lying here. We're like, we can't believe he's never coming back. Like, he's just gone. He didn't even think about us. And he just left. And I told her, I said, you know what? I want to shave my head. And she's like, why? Well, Mom, don't do that. Just think about it. Don't do it. I said, no. When he was 2, we had to take him to India to shave his hair. And as he grew bigger, and my daughter they would both say, she would tell him, Mom took you to India and, she sold your soul. they would make up stories. And I said, and they would say, well, we're going to shave your hair. And I said, well, yeah, sure. When I die, you guys can shave my hair. I'm going to be dead. I don't care. Just shave my head. You guys can do it then. I don't know.
How did it feel to do that? Did it feel like you were closer to him?
Yeah, it felt like he's probably thinking, you're crazy, Sat. I can't believe you did this, But...
Why did you move in here? How come you started sleeping in here? Does it make you feel closer to him?
Yeah, it does.
What is it in here that brings you comfort?
I don't know. I just feel like he always sat outside. This spot. This is where he jumped from. It's like, I always pray that maybe one day, he'll come and visit me. He hasn't come yet, but I'm hoping one day he will. I love him still, no matter what.
Are there things in the room that you look at or you touch and you feel closer to him?
Well, his clothes, I smell his clothes. It's weird, I know.
It's not weird. That's not weird.
I keep it right beside me, and, I wear his T-shirts underneath my work clothes because it just gives me strength. And I know he's with me everywhere I go, but it's just...
He's your baby.
Yeah, he was.
This is already so hard, but I need you to talk to me about the day Mandeep died. Can you tell me what happened?
So he went to a friend's wedding in June. He was very happy, his best friend, Badarud, and he was so happy, and I thought, oh my God, he's so happy, everything was really nice. A week later, on a Sunday, he asked me, he's like, I'm going to go out for a little bit with my friends. I said, okay, just tell me, give me the name and address, and that's it. He's like, sure. He sent it to me, and he came home at 11:30, and he was okay, and I was happy he was home by 11:30. And then 4 o'clock in the morning, I heard a big, like his door just went open really fast, and I thought, what's that noise? I leaped out of my bed, and by the time I got to the hallway, he hit his head on the side of the wall, and he fell back, and luckily I grabbed him, and I looked at him, and I said, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? And he didn't recognize me. He didn't know it was me. And he just pointed to the kitchen that he wanted water. So I took him, brought him back on the bed, put him here. He had his water, and then I went back outside. At 4:15, I messaged my daughter. I said, Manpreet, I said, this is what's happened. You guys never believe anything I say, but something is wrong with him. I said, something is going on. She's like, really, Mom? And I'm like, yes. And then she hung up, and she found a rehab center that she thought, would benefit him, like, right away. And she called the person right away. And she said, Mom, they said if we leave a deposit, he can go there, like, in the morning. Like, I said, okay. I said, I'm going to go to work for a couple of hours. He's sleeping. Let my boss know what's going on. And then I'll come home, and then we will talk to him. So I worked for 3 hours, came home, and she met me here. My partner came home, and we all spoke to him. But he wasn't all there. But we didn't know what was wrong with him. And so we took him to rehab. The worst day of my life, I thought that would be. We dropped him off. It was for 1 month. We signed it for him in for 1 month. And he came back, and he was changed. He was happier. He was like 84 pounds when he went. He was turning into like a skeleton. And when he came back, he was healthy. He looked good. And we were happy. We're like, okay, he's going to get better now. Whatever he's going through, he's going to get better. And a month went by, 2 months went by. He had one relapse of drinking. And I came into the room, and, I said, you can't do this. You're harming yourself. Talk to me. You're going to die. And he looked at me, and he's like, no one died from alcohol. You don't know. There's other ways that people die. And I really didn't think of it as anything. And, and that October morning, Thanksgiving, that weekend I was sick. I was really sick. When I get stressed out, I get sick to the point where I'm like bedridden sick. And I was sick from Friday, Sunday. I was really sick. And then Monday I woke up on the 11th. I felt better. And my partner, Morelli, he had a friend's engagement party that they wanted to go take the boat out, and, the guy wanted to propose to the girl at their spot, in Pickering. And on our way there in the morning, we stopped by at one of his friend's house. It was his birthday. And the friend never celebrates his birthday because his grandmother passed away on that day. But we went there. I had a coffee. They had a drink. And then my partner was like, do you still want to come with me to the engagement? So I messaged my son. We love messaging each other. He asked me, he's like, oh, Muffin. That's what we called each other. He's like, Muffin, are you going to the engagement thing too? I said, well, I don't know if I should, I feel good, but I don't know if I want to go. He's like, no, you should go. You were sick all weekend, just go. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll go. I said, I'll think about it. I didn't even say yes, but I went. So we're there, and he said, are you planning to go on the boat? I said, well, I'm at the Bluffs. I don't know if I'm going to go on the boat, but maybe I will. Because for whatever reason, I didn't want to tell him I was going, like say yes. I don't know why, but I didn't tell him yes. Anyways, we ended up going on the boat, reaching where we're supposed to reach, and my phone started ringing. And I looked at my phone, and it was Badarudin calling me, and my heart dropped.
Who is that?
That's his best friend. My heart dropped, looked at the phone, and I looked at my partner, and I said, Mandeep is dead. And he's like, all these people are on our boat. And he's like, don't be like that. Just answer his call. I answered the call, and I said, Badarudin, I'm very far away. I said, I'm 45 minutes away. I said, what has happened? He said, oh, nothing. Is Mandeep okay? I said, I don't know. I said, what happened to him? And he's like, oh, don't worry, don't worry. We just wanted to see if you were home. I said, I'm not home. I told you I'm 45 minutes away. And he said, don't worry, I'm at your door. As soon as he said he was at my condo door, I knew my son was dead. As soon as I saw his phone ring, I knew he was dead. He's like, don't worry, nothing is wrong, I'll let you know. And then I called my daughter right away. I said, something is wrong, you need to call the police, tell them to get to the condo. She's like, what happened? I said, I don't know, I'm telling you, your brother is dead. And sure enough, she called 911. The paramedics, they were downstairs, and my daughter brought her son. They passed through everybody. They haven't even gotten up yet. My daughter came up, and the best friends had already were in the elevator. As soon as my daughter opened the door, their friends, they said he just jumped. And he just jumped. And until 1:30, 3 o'clock, my son was messaging me. Are you having a nice time? How's it going? How's everything? And I said, yeah, everything is okay. And it was just a normal conversation we were having like we would every single day. But the only difference was, end of every conversation, we always told each other, love you, see you later. But we never said it. He didn't say it, I didn't say it. We didn't say it to each other. That moment, I never got to say it. And he never said it to me. It's the worst feeling ever. It's the worst feeling ever. And you come home and you can't go upstairs because they don't want you to. And nobody wanted me to see his body because he fell on the 5th floor. And I didn't see his body. And they took him away, and I didn't see him until the day I had to go to the funeral home. And it was one of my friend's funeral home, and he said, Satnam, you don't want to see him. He's like, trust me. I said, no, he's my son. He came out of me. I can deal with it. I should be able to see him. I mean, they covered his face because I couldn't recognize him. It was the worst.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I should have just went with my gut. My gut told me not to go. But I knew my son would die. I just didn't know when. Because I knew for months, something bad was going to happen to him. I just didn't know how. I just didn't know when. Every day I'd come from work thinking, is he alive? Is he dead? If I knocked on his room door and he didn't open the door, I would be panicking, like, okay, he's dead. And then he opens the door and I'm like, okay, thank God, he's alive. He's alive. Never thought this is how we would end his life. I always thought that I would be able to save him. That I would be able to save him.
You tried, though. You tried to save him. You tried. You did everything you could. You were communicating with him. You got him into rehab. You tried your best. I want to rewind a bit because you do have strong intuition, but I want to talk about when you first noticed something was off about him, way before rehab. Like, when did you notice something was wrong?
Maybe a year ago is when I really thought something was wrong. I would come home and I would tell my daughter, my partner, I would say, something is not right. Something is wrong with him. And my daughter would say, oh, no, Mom, you're just dramatic. You worry too much. And my partner would say, you know, you shouldn't drop him to work. You should let him take the bus. I said, but it doesn't make sense. If I work in Stouffville and his work is right there, why am I going to make him take the bus? So sorry.
It's okay. Let it out. Was he acting differently?
He was starting to. I would drop him to work And he would sit in my car. If he didn't talk to me, I wouldn't talk to him. I wouldn't talk back. I would just drive. But if he would say, if we would start up a conversation and say, Muffin, do you want to get Tim Hortons in the morning? Even though I had my breakfast, I would say, yeah, sure, I'm hungry. Let's get something. And I would get it. You know, there were times he would sit in my car where he would, if I would move the phone wire or something, he would get so agitated. And one day I called his friend up and I said, listen, can you check up on him? Because he's very mean to me and he's not a mean person. He loves me. I said, can you? He's like, yeah, I'll talk to him. And he said, no, he's fine. And then he would write to, my son would write to me when I would get to work. He would say, I'm sorry for being mean to you. And things like that. And I thought, okay, maybe he's going through something. And then one day out of the blue, he's like, can I go see the doctor? I said, oh, okay, sure. And I told my partner, you take him, because I'm the mother. And if I take him, you know, he's always going to think that, oh, I'm prying. I said, why don't you take him? You never do anything with him. You take him and you ask him, are you okay? You know, just try to talk to him. If you don't have that connection from day one, it's hard to put somebody up to do that. And of course they went. He didn't, you know, he's older. We can't go inside with him. So he went in and he got a prescription for something. So he came home and he's like, can you fill this prescription for me? I said, sure. I filled it for him. I didn't really look at it to see what it was for. And a few days later, I was cleaning and I zoomed it, like I took a picture of it and I looked at it and I found out it was for anxiety. So then I took him out to have dinner with me and I said, you know, he's like, I know why you brought me out here. I'm like, why do you say that? He's like, because you want to talk to me about the pills. I said, yes. I said, I want to make sure you're okay. Like, what's bothering you? Let's talk about it. Why do you have anxiety? In my mind, he stays home. He doesn't go anywhere. I take him to work. I bring him home. This is how he chooses to be. I take him to get his hair cut. He tells me when he has to go. I drop him. I wait outside. Like, so I didn't understand where this anxiety was coming from. In my mind, I thought everything was perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like, he smiles. He's happy. There's nothing wrong. But I knew something was wrong, but I just didn't know what was bothering him. And then he said, yeah, I can't sleep. And then I started doing my little investigating work, you know. I started to find, like, gravel pills, like, not one, like, bottles and bottles. And then I think it started off with that and just that. And I guess it got so bad, and I didn't really realize how bad it was until the day he hit his head. And that's when I was like, no, there's something wrong with him. And then once he was in rehab, I came home and I just barricaded myself in his room. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to clean his room. This is my chance to revamp his room, get a new mattress for him, which he never wanted. Just clean it up, make it zenful when he comes back, so it's a fresh start, new beginning. And then as I started to rip out all his things, I started to find bottles of alcohol. Like, bottles and bottles, not one. My whole kitchen table was filled with bottles. And I found, like, pills and all kinds of things that I never imagined my poor innocent Mandeep, my son, my Mandeep, would be doing. It's like, I didn't even know. And it was right underneath my presence. I just didn't know. It's like, he was so innocent. He didn't go anywhere. He just was miserable. He was going through stuff, and he just had all this stuff, you know. And I told myself, it's okay. It's better. I found out now. I can help him, you know. I took pictures of it. I sent videos to his friends, and they're like, oh my God, we didn't know. And I'm like, I told you guys. They said, you know, no, he said he was getting better. He was, you know, he was working out. He would buy workout stuff and say, I'm going to work out. And he would buy, you know, health drinks and say, you know, I'm going to make this and that. And buy this for groceries. Don't buy this anymore because I'm working out. I need this. I need that. Everything he said I did for him. And he was still going through something. And I just didn't know what it was until he died. You know, I didn't know.
Satnam, you know what I see, though? I see a parent that is doing everything to help their child. Like, I know when you look back, you feel like I should have known. If someone doesn't want you to know, they're going to make sure you don't know.
Yeah.
You did what I would do. I'll take you to work. I'll wait for you. I'll take you home. I'll take you to the hair appointment. I'll wait for you. I'll take you home. I will redo your bedroom. I'll make sure you feel good in your space.
Yes.
But you can't control what he's going through. That's not on you. It's not on you. I want to talk about you a bit, though.
Yeah.
Because you're the one that has to get up every day without him. How are you coping?
I don't sleep. I can't sleep. You know. I just lay down. I rest my body, is what I do. And then I have my alarm for like 5. I'm usually up. I get up before the alarm goes off. And I get ready. I have my coffee and I tell myself, I can do this. I can do anything. I can do this. And that's it. I journal. If I'm having like a bad, I keep a journal with me everywhere I go. Because every second, if I start feeling overwhelmed, I just journal. I just write all my feelings down and, you know, and hope that for that moment, I'll be okay. And if I'm at work, you know, if I have to cry, I cry. And no one says anything. They understand. And, you know, I got this tattoo last year of Mandeep.
Oh,
I got it's
that's beautiful.
yeah, and I had a patient come in with his wife to pick up glasses, and I had a dress on, and he saw my tattoo, and he said, "Oh, so you have a tattoo on your leg?" I said, "Yes." He's like, "So you won't forget?" I don't know how he said it. He said, "Who is that?" I said, "That's my son." He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "So you got his face on your leg so that you will always remember him?" I said, "Yes." And then they left, and then, of course, everyone just looked at my face, and we were all kind of like, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." I said, you know, people see something on you, they don't understand, they don't know your journey. I said, but it's my journey, and if I told him, you know, he would be shocked that I'm like, I struggle every day. I do. I struggle every day, but I'm grateful for being able to go to work and try every day and, you know, trying to get through it. It's not easy. Some days I don't even know how.
Do you eat? Do you cook?
I cooked today.
You cooked today?
I cooked today. I did. I cooked today because I knew you guys were coming, and I tried to make food that I know my son loved. He didn't leave. He obviously came up with me, but I shut the door and I laid in his bed for 3 hours. I just passed out. Literally, I was passed out.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and I looked around and I thought, I need to do something. He's gone now. I need to make this positive for him. So what I did was, he left, my partner left. I was like, okay, I have strength. I'm going to do this. I ripped the closet doors. I put them outside. I literally took the bed apart, mattresses, single hand. I put everything. My whole living room was filled with all his stuff, because then I started finding bottles and stuff, and I was like crying, miserable, but I was like, it's okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, every piece of his clothes had bottles of alcohol. And then I did that, and I was like, okay, now it's all out. But then I'm like, something told me, check the pockets of all his clothes. So I started checking pockets of the clothes, and that's when I started to find like pills, and I didn't know what they were. And I was like, what is this? What's all this stuff? Who is this boy? Who's Mandeep? I didn't know Mandeep. I really didn't. I thought I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't know him as much as I thought I did. Because he was going through all this stuff, he was trying so hard to be this for me and that for somebody else, and all these people he was trying to please. All he had to do was be himself. You know?
Since you moved in here, Satnam, you've moved your stuff in here?
I've moved most of my stuff in here.
You've moved your stuff in here. You've kept sort of a bit of a tribute to him happening.
Yes.
There's shirts with his face on them. His picture is here.
Yes.
The things he liked. Now, you find comfort in this space.
Yeah.
This is sort of your place to feel close to him.
Yeah.
How do you feel about us changing it a bit? How do you feel about us taking a few things out and adding some new energy into his space, into your space? Do you trust us to do that?
I trust you guys to organize my closet. Yeah.
Are there things we can shift around?
We could shift things around, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
we can.
We're going to do it respectfully, and we're going to make sure that you're comfortable with everything, okay? I promise you that.
Okay.
But we need to bring some new energy into this.
Okay.
We need to keep you close to your baby, but we also need you to envision your life and your future.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Rings, like stuff that he had on, like it was just placed. As I was walking, I was picking up all the stuff, and his rings, I was putting them on my finger. Like I had more, but I kept this one, and some of his rings I gave it to his friends, best friends.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that he probably did it from right there because his window is there. So
Satnam, as I step out here, I can't describe the feeling. It feels scary to be out here to me. How does it feel to you to be out here?
I have my good days and my bad days, you know. I come out here every morning and I look up and I always try to see if, you know, if he's sending me a sign or something, you know. Some days I'm so overwhelmed, I just pop my head up out of the door and I just go back in because I'm so unstable. And some days I'm calm and I come sit down and, you know, I try to tell myself it's okay. And I eat my dinner here sometimes, you know, have my coffee and I cry. And, you know, or journal. I journal here too. But it's hard, like, to know. And, you know, my visions at night are of him looking up at his friends as they, you know, had to let him go, or else all three of them would have went over, you know.
Can you tell me that story? This is it's the last place where Mandeep ever was.
Yes.
This spot.
Yes.
What happened with his friends?
So I think because he was on the call with his best friend Badarudin. So I guess he was telling him that he's going to end his life. So he decided that he lives in Ajax, so he rushed over on the highway, but he kept him on the call.
Yeah.
And then he called me asking me, can they get into the condo? So we told the security downstairs to just let them in. There's an emergency, you have to open the door. So luckily, thankfully, they opened the door for him and they were outside trying to talk him down, like, don't do it, Mandeep, come back onto the side. He was already on the other side.
Mandeep was
yes.
on the other side of this balcony.
From what I know, he was already on the other side. So they were like, he had a coin. So he got a coin from rehab. You know, when you, one of those coins that tell you know, graduated 1 month without drinking and all that stuff. He had a coin. So he told his friends, pick a side. If you pick this, then I won't jump. So basically, he was putting his life into their hands. And they're like, no, Mandeep, we're not going to do that. And then he's like, I'm going to jump anyways. I was just joking. So he was already there. So they're like, don't do it, don't do it. And he just did it. And then they grabbed him. Like they grabbed like his whole hand like this. And then the other friend, Yathavan, he actually grabbed Badarudin. So they were holding on to him pretty much. But Badarudin and Mandeep were already down, and then Yathavan was like half of his body was down. So it was like, what do? Do all three of you die, or do you just you? It's a really tough choice they had to make at that point. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you? And he kept telling them, let go, let go, let me go, let me go, and he kept telling them, like, sun is going to shine, you know, and night is going to come. I want you guys to get married, have your families, have your babies, but I'm not going to be here. But you guys need to do this, you know? And then they had to let him go. They had to. They had no choice. And then he was gone, just like that. He just jumped off. He always kept telling me, "You're strong. I'm not as strong as you, my son." And you know what? He is strong because he stayed alive 25 years just for me. Just for me. He did. And I love him. And I appreciate that. No matter what struggles he was going through, he stayed alive 25 years for me. For me. You know?
So you come out here a lot.
I do. I do. I try to. You know, he always wanted me to sit outside. You know, come sit outside. It's so nice on this side. And so I thought I'd make like a little space for me to come and sit. You know?
Can I give you a hug?
Yes.
Let's go back in.
Can we talk about that middle area, Tracy? Let's go into that middle area. That's
You say Mandeep always wanted you to come
He
out
did.
here.
When I would come from work, he would say, "Satnam, why are you sitting inside? Why don't you sit outside on this side? It's so nice, and you like the sun. I like sun, like the sunshine. I like sunbathing, and, you know." But I think I just lost all that 2 years ago because I knew he was struggling. I knew something was happening. Nothing made me happy. The sun doesn't even make me happy now. If it's a rainy day, I'm happy because I don't know when morning started and when night comes because it's cloudy and the day just rolls over.
Yeah.
But when it's sunny, it's like it's a struggle. You know, I try to make the best of it. So he would want me to come outside. So, you know, this year I decided I'd do a little bit of something for myself and just have a space to sit, you know, just so I can, you know, have my coffee here or eat something here or just to come out and just sit. Sometimes I just sit here, honestly. I listen to a song that makes me feel close to him. And
I was going to ask you that. Does
I
being
do.
out here make you feel a bit closer to him?
I feel like if I sit out here that he would be happy, that he would say, you know, wow, mom is actually doing what I told her to do instead of just sitting. Now I just come from work
Yeah.
and I shower and I come sit outside for a few minutes and then I go in the room. I honestly don't even sit outside except for maybe in the morning to drink my coffee and that's it. And come 6:20, I'm out the door because I want to go to the cemetery and I want to make sure I water, you know, his plants and, you know, clean up his spot and then I head over to work. I start work at 9, but I'm literally there at 7:30 every day working because it just gives me time to de-stress before the staff comes in so I can put on my, you know, brave front and be like, okay, guys, you know, I'm here and if I'm happy, everybody's happy. So I have to project that every single day and, you know, and they appreciate it and, you know, so it's nice. And it also helps me too. In a way, it helps me when I'm at work. I'm just focused on making sure they're okay.
Yeah.
So
It's a good distraction.
Yeah, it is.
So you're in his room all night. You come out here to be close to him in the morning. You go to the cemetery to visit him. And then you go to work to distract yourself. And then you come
Pretty
home
much.
and you go back to his room to be with him.
Pretty much.
You are living for him
Pretty much.
every minute of the day.
Yes.
Or you're pretending to be okay.
I think I pretend to be okay.
Yeah.
I do. But he's always in my mind and, you know, I just think about the moment it happened and, you know, the worst things that you could think possible that day did go wrong because we had too many people on that boat for me to get back on shore. So another boat had to come and I had to jump on their boat to go back to the docks. And as we were going, that boat ran out of gas.
Oh,
So we're standing there in the middle of the water and I'm telling this guy, why are you not going? My son is dying. Why are you not moving? I didn't know that he had no gas.
Yeah.
He didn't know what to do. He didn't want to tell me I have no gas. I'm sorry. But another boat came, then I jumped onto their boat and we made it, but my son was already dead. I had already got the call that my son died, and there was nothing I could have done except all I wanted to do was to get home so I can touch his body and just hold him for one last time. And, you know, I wasn't able to do that.
Satnam, as a parent, I think a lot of us come up with these scenarios in our heads about how we would save our children. If someone tried to run over my child, I would go there and I would pick up the car.
Yes.
If someone tried to drown my child, I would go to the bottom of the sea and I would bring them up.
Yes.
Do you feel like your mind is stuck in a loop of what you could have done?
Yes. I always play scenarios in my head like, oh, I should have did this, I should have did that, I should have been more understanding maybe, or I should have listened better, or so many things. And then some days I tell myself, no, I did everything. I did everything that I could. Because my daughter tells me every day, Mom, you did everything. There was nothing you could do. He already made up his mind. But I'm a mom. I'm always going to think, I should have been able to save him. I should have been able to save my son.